¿Qué pasa? Bienvenidos a más un AtomCast internacional. Yo soy Leonardo Romeo, diseñador industrial y gerente de diseño en Tech Electrodomésticos aquí en Madrid. Y hoy hablamos con Tiago Abreu, Design Innovation Consultant en China y Portugal.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Tiago, for your time. No, I know that's not so easy to find some space in your agenda, but after some conversations, we finally find this day to have our chat. So thank you very much for being here, in AtomCast. And I mean, let's start as usual, asking you about your career, your path since whatever you want till today, and then during your explanation we can enter
Sure.
in other details.
Sure. I'm looking forward for this interview. It's novel in the sense that sometimes when, let's say, I will jump almost to the end of my career on a company in China, I used to do as well public speaking, and I need to do media training. So every time you address communications, you need to be carefully selecting words and sentences, not compromise what you are saying.
Exactly.
So now we don't have barriers. So welcome everyone
You can
to
say
AtomCast.
whatever you want. Yeah, exactly.
So we are here rolling live, and there is no script.
Exactly.
So thank you, Leonardo, for searching me to find me, and finally we are doing this. So
Exactly.
It's a pleasure. So let's move a bit on my journey on design. And anyway, just for the guests listening us and watching us. So my name is Tiago Abreu, and I'm a Portuguese industrial designer. I was born in '84, and I'm always very passionate about design. And once I finished my high school, I was kind of delving between, do I want to go to a career of psychologist, or do I want to go as a designer? Psychologist, because as well my father was a psychiatrist. So
Okay.
I have been listening many stories when you were a kid on the table without totally understand the topics, but I always felt that there was an interesting to solve problems and to help persons to have a better life. And
Yeah.
I was fascinated with the psychology side as well. But when I was looking towards my mid school, or like when you were a small kid, I was very happy being creative. Like
Yeah.
Legos, fixing bikes. I had a motorbike as well that my brother.
Disassembling some toys just to see inside.
Yes, I had a motorbike that my brother bought me when I was 8 years old. It was insane. My parents, they didn't like much the idea, but my brother was doing businesses on secondhand cars. In between a deal, you get a motorbike. So I customized the motorbike. I opened parts of the motorbike, and I was since very young, very fascinated with that idea. And I was reflecting about that, like why I didn't choose psychology, and that I guess it's related to the past experience that you had on the education system as well. Like I remember being a kid, and one of my best friends always asked me to sketch for him. Like we need to do a draw to hang your clothes when you arrive to the school. I don't know if you remember that. Like this in Portugal, we used to do that. And he could not draw it as Sonic, and I draw his Sonic and my Sonic, and like people already were approaching me on that creative side.
Nice.
And then time by time, I understand that that's going to be the path to take. And then like design impacts everyday products that people use. So somehow, well, it's a different discipline of psychology, but somehow it's like it has the core value of understanding the user needs, the user behaviors, and it's kind of as well the core aspects of psychology in order to improve a certain patient or people life. So that was a bit my
Interesting.
starting on the decision of the design. Um, After that, once I decided to study, I studied in Lisbon,
And Lisbon.
in IAD. I made 4 years of studies there. And then, I finished with the sense that, yes, I really want to be a product designer. I will conquer the world. Then it comes kind of a economical crisis. Then I found myself working in a newspaper. That was my first
Newspaper.
job. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. In a newspaper, because like, you need to find a way, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you finish your studies. There's no reason for you to be blaming the system or blaming the way that economics are
Mm-hmm.
turning around and then damaging your career prospect. Find a way. So I start in a newspaper and I took a role as graphic designer and as well
Uh-huh.
sales. But I was more interesting on sales because no, you're a product designer. We tend to control decently, I will not say professionally, not offend no one, some graphical tools. So I used that ability as a designer to, once I pitched to clients, bear in mind, I was young, I was just 20, 21.
Okay.
Now I'm 40. And on that time, you dress up to pitch economical situation for them, a solution of, like in a newspaper to get their news online and offline. And then
Mm-hmm.
I do the commercial advertisements for them
Oh,
just
nice.
to tease them
Mm-hmm.
the ability to gain them as a client. And I think I was successfully gaining clients because I could add the design aspect and the human touch approach
Uh-huh.
when I was
Uh-huh.
approaching clients. But then there was a journey, like that period of time was, I made, I think, 6 months. Then I get another job in Lisbon. And then after, I decided I need to catch up again with the train of product design. So I
Okay.
went to Barcelona to do a master degree at ELISAVA.
And why in this case why Barcelona? Because you don't have this. You didn't find any other course in Portugal, or because if you that time you want to go to another country to have a different experience. Is there any reason?
Yeah, I think the reason is like, um, Portugal is amazing, but however, once you start consider to grow your career, is always interesting and meaningful when you go abroad, right?
Yes.
And I regret I never made like Erasmus.
Ah, yeah.
Erasmus is something that allow you, anyway, anyone everyone knows Erasmus, that allow you to study period of time outside of your university in a foreign
Mm-hmm.
country.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom was telling me, Tiago, you should do. And I was like 6. And I said, oh, come on, I'm already living in Lisbon. It's so far from my hometown. It's already such a difference. You want me to go abroad? And I should have did listen, my mom. Guys, listen, your moms. She was totally right. And then since that was a bit like the bone that gets stuck here in my throat, I said, like, come on, I need to go somewhere. So I decided to go as well nearby, not to be that drastical.
Yeah.
I went to Barcelona as well because the Zava was showcase a vast array of
Yeah.
professionals that I
Yeah.
admired.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, let's go to Barcelona.
And it's a design city, no, for sure. And I think still
Yeah.
today, Elisava is one of the best universities here in terms of design. No, talking about design, probably the best one here or the most famous.
Yeah,
It's a good choice.
and I really felt that was interesting, even though that we tend to tell that Portuguese is very similar to Spanish, but it's not that true. You cannot
No.
say pequeño almuerzo, es desayuno. So so there is some
Exacto.
words for breakfast, for example, or whatever
Yeah.
that is not that similar. But was interesting to gain a new language as well, and was interesting to connect with Barcelona because since the Olympics in Barcelona has been really developed towards being kind of
Sure.
a hub of design, culture, contemporary and lifestyle experiences, and recently as well as kind of a tech hub happening as well in Barcelona. So I felt the link to Barcelona or the decision to go to Barcelona was very good. And after, I also finished to go to Milan. I stay almost 6 months in Milan because as a product designer, you are fascinated by the design aesthetics of or narratives of Italian designers. I say if you go cars, you go like Giugiaro, like do these crazy cars that he portrays himself more as a product designer, a car designer, but always having like a very fascinating design language and so on. So you need to go Italy somehow, I felt, in order to embrace what is to be a designer. And in Italy, I stay 6 months, and I went there because I earn a European subvention program that called Leonardo da Vinci that sponsors you to go to other cities. So it was a
Nice.
fascinating experience as well in Italy.
Great in Italy. And then you
Yeah,
spend some time in Italy. You already finished your post graduation in Elisava that time, right?
yeah, correct,
And
correct,
then from
correct.
Italy, after 6 months,
Then
what was
for
the new?
then for Italy, you know, like I was in love and passionated by Barcelona, so I just returned.
Ah, great.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
it's a nice city. It's a nice city.
Yeah,
Great.
because anyway, in Italy it was a tough experience. I don't know if you know someone that has been trying to start a career in Milan.
It's not easy.
Highly competitive. People are very workaholic, and it's
Hmm.
very about status. And if you are starting your career there or being internship there, like they're just gonna grind you. You know, they're just
No,
gonna
you're right.
grind you.
No, no, I
Um,
think it's interesting because also Milan, it's similar to Barcelona in terms of design. No, it's a really well-known city. I don't know if you want to go or to make something related with design, go to Milan or to Barcelona or I don't know New York or even now China. But it's different. No, it's different environment, different type
yes,
of people, and I think Barcelona, as you said, is more I don't know,
I don't
or
know.
maybe easier. I don't know.
I will
It's
not
different.
not say easier. Like I think there is more tolerance and acceptance to
Maybe.
understand that you are in a growth process, right? I think Milan, they are already seeking for efficiency. Okay,
Okay.
and when you are a junior designer, you are all around
Mm-hmm.
ideas, and but sometimes you have a lack of understanding how can you impact the business, even if it is a large corporation or if it is just a design office. How can you, being a tool that efficiently enter in some gear that already
Mm-hmm.
exists, and you need to contribute to accelerate that gear, all right?
Right.
But normally, when you are a young designer, you try to match up in the system and you are not accelerating. You are just
Exactly.
creating a mess. But sometimes the mess is also needed to reinvent the gearbox. But I felt that in Italy, they were not much willing to do that. So, but
Let's
anyway,
continue what is done. Let's try to not mess up, things. And yeah, it's
but
different.
I one curious stuff. I was working aside of a Kuka robot. You know these orange robots that they are using in
Yeah.
automotive industry.
Yeah.
The
No, the
design
Kuka
office
one.
was called PRM Milano, and in the office we were like maybe 10 designers, 10 pro designers, and then like traditional sales,
Yeah.
HR, director, da, da, da. And then was the glass at my side, and the other side of the glass was a Kuka robot, huge, producing like
Nice.
car mock-ups, furniture mock-ups, and so on. Always working super fast, and you were like, "Wow, that's insane."
Yes, the 3D, the 3D machine, is fantastic. This machine is fantastic.
No. They were like like CNC, highest definitions, different
It's
levels,
perfect.
and
Great.
different materials, foams, aluminiums, wood, stuff like that. There was like once you come from the education background, when you go to your model maker shop or university, they were not at the level of that.
Of course. And which year we are talking here? Which year?
I'll say like in 2012.
2012. Yeah,
2000.
but by that time it's something really impressive. That
Yeah,
time
yeah,
12
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
10, 12 is
10 to
like
12.
3D printer was something really, they talking about, but it's not so no.
Yeah,
And
but
now
bear in mind, was not neither a printer, was just a huge robot, like a
a machine.
CNC machine that
Exactly.
goes with a control numeric with so many difference of points.
In 3D axis, no, that's the cool thing. No,
Correct.
they do everything.
Correct,
It's
correct, correct. So back on track. So after that, I returned to Barcelona when I have been working into design offices,
okay.
and one of the design offices, the lastest ones, like or most of them, I have enjoying a lot of nice experiences working in consumer electronics,
Uh,
household appliance, and so on. And in the last one, I get the opportunity to go to China. Through that one, because
uh,
I just sat with my boss and said, look, in that time, the way they evaluate my well-being and my career was I split in four, as far as I remember.
mm-hmm,
One was experience, another one was knowledge, another one was financial gain and stability, and
mm-hmm.
another one was project. And when I make this map and talking with him, because the guy was very methodic, so I said, like, come on, I will find a way to approach you in the conversation. Then you say, okay, financial and so on. Yeah, yes, this is a bit short here, right? And I assume that we are not interested to touch on that stage right now. So let's
Mm-hmm.
move to other ones without giving too much importance to that one. But that one is negative, all right? So then experience, project, and so on, and knowledge. And then I felt like in a way that I can just, elevate the level of those three, I need to go abroad.
Yeah.
So I told him, look, we have office in China recently,
Uh,
and we have clients there.
okay.
Man, just give me a chance. I want to go China. And it was
Great.
like that.
Great. So, but in the end, of course, not uh, using the company structure. A new one. I remember that some Barcelona offices that time was 2000 and something. They lots of big companies, no, from China. They kind of approaching lots of design studios in Barcelona to
Yes,
try something new. I remember because I made some projects with lots of studios in Barcelona, and all of them told me, no, some years ago came these big companies from China asking for concepts for all and most of them start let's make some hub at least and to check what we can do in China.
and the reality is, like, I think they were pioneers, so I will advertise them a bit. They're not paying me for this, but let's do
No
it.
problem.
So, the agency called Stimulo.
Stimulo, yes,
Yes,
no,
yes, they
famous.
were kind of one of the pioneers. Then as well follow Anima and
Anima,
others
exactly.
that they are
Work
also.
plane, work
Yeah,
plane. Also, I don't know if you know
they,
these
they
guys.
were they were also engaging to go to China, but I think Stimu was one of the pioneers. But that doesn't mean that they were the most successful. But I think they
Ah,
were kind of those
one of the
opening the
first.
doors of what is Barcelona design to be perceived in China. Like
Yeah, sure,
at least. And I think they deserve that recognition in my point of view.
sure,
S-
sure. It's not
So
easy. And then
yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
you are a Portuguese living in Spain that time with
Mm-hmm.
some experience in Italy,
Yeah.
but all of these countries, Latin countries,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm as a Brazilian also, with this Latin way, and then you
Mm-hmm.
go to China.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
experience, I don't know, some time or some years in Germany or maybe this Nordics, and then you go
No,
straight to
I just
China,
made a shortcut.
and
I just go straight China.
and I think everybody wants to know how was this thing, this experience, because we know that China is China. Now
Yeah,
maybe today, after I don't know how long was your experience, but we know that each year they are becoming more, let's say, they and us more integrated. But that time, I don't know how was this experience, not only professional but also personal.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's a huge change. It's a huge
I
change.
can imagine.
But it was fun that I felt that a couple of colleagues, they were happy that I was leaving to China because being Portuguese and at that time supporting Real Madrid, Mourinho was there, and they're all from Barcelona and Catalan, so they were happy. I'm saying this in a sarcastic way. Of course, they were
Nice.
sad that I'm leaving, but we sometimes we had this type of funny clashes, but just like you have your colleagues that they become friends, and these topics come across. But to answer your, or to address that question, like, because as well I felt that China makes sense, because we grow up looking to the success of Silicon Valley, right? So Silicon Valley is what grows like the well-known companies that we admire, like for example, Apple or Microsoft or HP.
Yes.
Um, on a
No, no.
hardware base, I will not talk about Google, Meta, whatever,
Yes, yes.
because this is more on a software base.
Mm-hmm.
However, Google also have hardware recently, firstly software and then
Yeah,
hardware.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
So I was looking at that and I was thinking, like, where is the next place, or is the place that is pumping as Silicon Valley but is not as a hype as Silicon Valley? And that was Shenzhen, right?
Yeah.
And when I went to it to China for the first time, I went to Guangzhou. So it's a city nearby Shenzhen, like 2 hours, 2 hours and a
Mm-hmm.
half by
Yeah.
train.
Okay.
So it's the capital of Canton area, all right,
Okay.
Guangdong area. So when I went there, I went with the design agency. So the point was to be a designer in the field, to support the clients, and as well kind of being account manager, so I can as well lead
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some clients. And we had a small teams, like one, two engineers, a guy more focused on sales, and me more focused on design and account management on a daily basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting, man. I just need to tell this story because it's so fun. I hope people will find it interesting. Like you travel to China, right? Set up. Let's go backwards on time.
Uh-huh.
And I was in Barcelona. I take my flight. I take one luggage with me. I have a tickets. Enter in the plane. Let's go China. I arrived China. The visa was okay. The controls was okay. No problem. I take the metro alone. I found my colleague in the metro station, and the first stuff he'd say, Tiago, let's go run. We have a meeting. And I say, man, I just arrived, man. Look at me. I'm just super exhausted, tired. Come on. This is China.
Meeting.
Come on. This is China. And then I say,
Crazy.
okay, so where is the taxi? What taxi? The guy just raised the hand, asking for cars to stop. All right, he's asking for cars to
Uh-huh.
stop. One van just stopped, and the guy just communicating to discuss the price, where we are going. There is no Uber or DD on that time, all
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
we need to find a way to communicate where we are going, more or less. So he was very agile on doing that. And we enter in a normal van with construction guys, like they go to doing some construction, but they had a
It's
space
just a
there.
ride. It's just a
Yeah,
ride. Oh, come
it's just a
on.
ride. We pay for the ride, and I'm there with my bag looking to these people, and I was just, are they from the same company? Are they working there? Are they what? They are
Because
nothing,
your colleague was a Chinese person.
No,
Your
no, no, no,
colleague.
no. Spanish.
Spanish. But he was integrated. They said, no, let's go.
No. His name is
What?
Eddie Roca,
Okay.
and no, he's very agile, this guy. And then we arrived there, and I was just mesmerizing. How can we arrive on a meeting on the truck? Like, okay, anyway, we are already here. Clean yourself, presenting good. The meeting arrived, it goes well. And then was a moment that the conversation was not going that well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and since you are there, you want to proactively try to understand all the parts of the opinions of the table, where they are agree or disagree, and try to say what have to be true for we consent in a reality, for we make a certain level of ground for us to move forward. And you try there to empathize. And I look to my colleague, to this Spanish one, and the guy was just shut up, all right, with a peace face, and just start pushing the cigarette, like put on the table, put the cigarette in the meeting room,
Yeah.
cigarette, and just start smoking, and just looking around. And I was just looking at him. And then in Spanish, like, hey, ¿qué haces? ¿Qué haces? Que estamos en la meeting, que estamos en reunión, ¿no? ¿Qué haces? And the guy just said to me, I just asked him, what are you doing? And the guy just said to me, no worries. You need to get used to the culture and communications, even if you are not communication with words. Just do what I'm doing. Just hold on a bit, let them talk the narrative now, and you grab a cigarette and smoke together with me. And that time I was smoking, so I said, "All right, man, I trust you. I've just arrived, so I'm
If you
still
say.
jet lag, so all good. Take a cigarette, and we both start smoking, right?" And then they were kind of complaining that something was not the way they should be, and
Mhm.
this was a way to tell them in narrative of the culture that you are crossing the line and you are being disrespectful. So I don't want to lose face. So hold on your horses a bit because we already make what you want, the change that you need. They already have been working the way I was trying to work on that meeting on that table,
Right.
and it was not successful. So we need to show that there is a limit, but kind in a way that you don't verbalize, but you just show by your attitude, you know? And that
Wow.
was like
This is crazy.
crazy,
Totally crazy,
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 like
crazy.
that was a nice experience. That was my first day in China.
Because if you enter, I mean, just to understand, if you enter in a discussion like a verbal discussion doesn't work. You need to show in this. This is the
On
best way, maybe, to show, or at least that
on
time.
on on that context, the
Okay, in
reality
that
is like
context, for sure.
that project was already running for a large period of
Uh huh.
time, and you have been doing a couple of iterations. And the problem is when you do iterations, they have a cost, right?
Right.
They are there on the budget, they are there on the brief, and they are there on the contract. And but sometimes you are willing to say these iterations we do it with no additional cost. That's all right. It happens.
Sure. Sure.
Misunderstand, da da da.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do it. But then when you give a finger and then start taking all your arm, like no, it's enough is enough.
Yeah.
So the communication was like this, guys. You are messing up because you change the briefing time to time, and we are trying to
Of
cope
course.
up with your needs. But then at the same time, you don't have a clear problem
Idea. No, you don't
that
know
you
what you
want
want.
to really tackle. What do you want
Exactly.
to tackle? So then the guy explained me why all the background of the project. I was aware, but I get shocked. We were smoking in a meeting room, like, and everyone starts
Like.
smoking there and discussing, and then we changed topic. Was yeah,
Interesting.
was very interesting.
And then so you start not this journey, no, in well, it's still working for Stimulo that time, no, in the Stimulo
Yes,
offices
yes,
in
yes,
in,
yes,
in
yes, yes,
China.
yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
then for how long do you stay there working for
I
them?
stayed with them like maybe 6 months or a
Okay.
couple more, and then and then as well, there was that I really want to engage more time there, and they were not willing to remain me there for a large period of time.
Okay.
So we decided to arrive to a deal and agreement that we no longer will be in a collaboration that say I'm not going to be employee of Stimulo. So I
Yeah.
decided to resign. And then I tried my luck, and I've been traveling China and going to design office with 100 designers, like stuffs like they were just mind blowing. The pace, the dedication, the effort
Hmm.
that people were putting to deploy whatever they are trying to do, and the quality on that time, yeah, it was poor.
Hmm.
But they were very willing to have foreigners as well, designers with a different vision of the quality of output, and as well a different mindset to design
Nice.
offices. But I was engaged with a couple of them, starting to enter some negotiations. But then comes across TCL. That was
Okay.
the moment that I said, "All right, interesting," because being on a consultancy is cool, but the downside is you don't understand the business of
Yeah.
a brand. So you
Hmm.
need to understand as well the full structure of value for that brand in order to understand how design can support this value chain in order to create what is the aim that is in grow the revenue X
Uh-huh.
percent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I say like, well, TCL is a well-known consumer
Sure.
electronics brand. On that time was not that known, but nowadays it's getting more popular.
Sure. Sure. Yes.
So I said, cool, let me hear what they want. And I get really excited because they invite me to work in a concept team that they are more interesting to have foreigner expertise and background on product design to think slightly ahead of the product lineup, but very in a more like aesthetics oriented. Okay, changing CMFs and so on and so forth. Couple of incremental value, but nothing extremely disruptive. And the head of that team, unfortunately, already passed away. Was named Mr. Fleming. Mr. Fleming was a Danish guy, and coming
Danish guy. So
from
they have
B&O.
okay, but that time they have an internal in let's say an in-house department, design department.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a big department they that time, or was kind of a small department with also foreign guys. How
Yeah,
was the
the structure have been changed. On the time that I arrived, that design team was just deploying products to the TV business unit, TV and
okay?
peripherals. When I say TV, I say TV, remote control, sound speakers, and other
Right.
accessories around
Uh-huh.
that realm of brand for TCL. Then
Yeah.
was other design teams for other product categories, but we are not
Okay.
cross collaborating. But that guy
Ah.
was the VP in a VP position, so he has a
Mm-hmm.
very important position because on that time the CEO, if I recall, Mr. E, he was the guy that was fascinating with design and especially as well with B&O. So this guy came from B&O and was the idea was to elevate the perception of quality of product
Sure.
manufacturing and product output, not about tech, because tech they already have other experts in R&D to do that.
Yeah.
But this guy was to try to place TCL as not just a manufacturing brand, but like own brand identity.
Uh-huh.
Elevate the
Uh-huh.
level of
Yeah.
output.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
And then the guy invited me a couple of times. A round of interviews took me almost 5 to 4 months. Was extreme, and the guy was extremely warm and close and sarcastic
Nice.
sometimes. Like, hey, what design are you doing in Portugal? Like, what are you guys doing in your country? We're doing TVs here. You guys have TVs over there, like in a sarcastic and funny way. So
Yeah.
so I can
Normal.
sustain that. I don't get offended because I like to engage on this
Yeah.
type,
Yeah.
even on a
That's
funny
the
way.
best way. Exactly.
Yes, even in a funny way. So the guy convinced me. I also convinced him, and then I was there.
So you entered to the team, and then in that time, and it's funny, because I saw some other big companies that they have this kind of structure. No, they don't have. I don't know how it works. They have at the time these separate divisions, no, and then for each division a design department. But did they have like a common or a central design department at that time, or not yet, or was maybe your future?
No, on that time was not that way. And
Okay.
nowadays it is. Since 2020, it was created Design Innovation Center, that we named DIC. So the structure have been changed. So
Mm-hmm.
the latest CEO, a lady that called Mitsu,
Mm-hmm.
she envisioned that some elements of the value chain to create the products, they should be working kind of as a service provider, but for all the product category. So that means that the design innovation center was providing design services in-house to all the product categories.
All categories.
As well, in order to do this, the goal is to ensure that they will control the quality of experience, manufacturing, design language,
Everything.
usage, packaging, even materials for going to market design, like
Mm-hmm.
key visuals, exhibition design, and so on. So that was placed design in a very strategic position. All right. So this way, the head accounts, they were kind of independently of the business units. They were led by the general manager of Design Innovation Center,
Uh-huh.
and on this way, the difficulty is like on a yearly base, you need to present the roadmap for the next coming years to the general manager of different business units for you later on discuss budget that influence the output of what you're going to do and as well influence the number of ad accounts that you can have or you aim to have in the future.
Yeah. Well, great, great.
Yeah.
And that time, another interesting thought that we saw during these last years was this. I don't know. We can say a turning point in China, because since the when we start to talk about China,
Mhm.
as when I was a child, I remember, no, China is they don't have quality.
Yeah,
They
copycats. Yes.
just copying
Yes, yes,
things.
yes,
They
yes,
don't
yes,
have
yes.
their own identity.
No, no,
And
no.
now what what we saw in the last years, and it's growing every year, is that they don't care about, let's say, the outside world, and they say, no, we have our identity. We know what our big, no, or huge country needs,
Mhm.
and we don't need to copy. We have quality. Of course, they have different types of quality as usual, or even
Mhm.
other country,
Mhm. Mhm.
but they have the top quality, whatever they want. But but I say more about their own identity. So they doing things not for us, but also for Chinese audience. No,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
how do you feel this
Because
mind change? No,
consumer market, local consumer market, it's huge, right? We're talking about 1.4 billion inhabitants, right?
crazy.
So who needs global market? Indeed,
Exactly.
the brands they need, okay?
Of course, of
The brands
course.
they need, because why not, right? So
Yes,
if you
yes.
have the ability to deploy value around the world and spread your products and gain more market share, and that influence the revenue of a
It's perfect.
company, everyone's happy. I think so. On the economical side, let's put it this way.
Yes.
But in mind, Chinese consumers, they are extremely picky. They are way more, they are way, they, like, it's very curious. Like, if you need to go to the process of growth of China, you need to understand that in the 50s they were dressing the same. They just have one book and they ride a bicycle,
Mm-hmm.
and they were really in a social revolution on the 50s with Mao Zedong. And whatever was made in the past was not destroyed, but was kind of blurred and kind
Mm-hmm.
of hidden for the upcoming society that China wants to create in order to be a more prosperous country. So they kind of reset the machine, like when you're playing a PlayStation,
Exactly.
reset this and start again. And they made this. Of course, that is the downside and the ugly side: poverty, hunger, and so on.
Yes, yes,
Very
yes.
difficult times with this decision. But then was interesting that you see, for example, Shenzhen was a very interesting place. That's why I also decided to go there, because Shenzhen was starting to be the first mm, pilot project for China on the new economical scene, because China have, like any other country, have tight regulations, difficulties in order to create business relationships with foreign countries and so on, and economical trades are hard. Da, da, da. But then they create, like in Shenzhen, what they envision to be a pilot project that is kind. Let's try if it works. And the idea was, let's do a special economical zone, right?
Right.
So in
Mm-hmm.
Shenzhen on the 80s, they start doing this. Quite curious. So they say, bear in mind that Shenzhen in the 80s, it was um, a village, a fishing town, poor, extremely poor.
Oh.
All right. We're talking about around 40 million, no, 40,000 persons. Okay.
Right.
40,000 persons. And now we're talking
40,000.
about 15 million persons. All right. Right. Since 80s until now.
Yes.
All right.
It's crazy.
So look, this Shenzhen, the beauty is like, how can you envision and you can allow this to happen? You have such an ability to pave, a drastic change in a place in order to pursue an idea to be Shenzhen being not just the world factory, but the tech hub and the future of consumer goods, car manufacturing, and so on, brand headquarters
Mm-hmm.
place. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and this starts thanks to Deng Xiaoping. It was,
Mm.
if you search this guy, is interesting. I have been in a place that have the they have a bit the story of the guy, and they have some pictures. The guy went to US like back in the 80s, and in Texas, and using like imagine the Chinese dressing the Chinese
The
outfit.
cowboy.
Yes,
The
you
cowboy
search,
hat.
please guys, search Deng Xiaoping, and you see this cowboy head. Smart, and was not turning back to US, was just embracing as well foreign investment, opening the doors
Nice.
for foreigners to come to China because they create a special economical zone. What it means tax breaks, they have financial incentives, they simplify bureaucracy, and like they have
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
regulations.
of
There was
course.
the beginning of the 80s, and then after until today, mm, you know, many decades they
That's
have
good.
changes, but that was as well beautiful to see that how you can as well contribute to the growth of Shenzhen.
Exactly. No, no. Great, great. And inside TCL, then I know that you start the, as you call, XLab. No, I think you built this, I don't know how to say this structure or this new concept internally in TCL. In how was, and what is about the XLab? What was the idea uh, behind this
So
new?
the idea was it was there since I was well when I was hired to go to TCL. I was being kind of a lead designer on part of a concept team. Okay, but once my VP of design from coming from B&O, that he taught us all the quality of products, aluminium, wood, like B&O acoustics and so on. We were
Fantastic.
fascinating with his
Sure.
ability. But then the CEO changed the structure. Then design started just coming down. But majority of the foreigners that you asked me before, they were there. We had like Argentinian, French, New Zealanders, Italian, and Taiwanese, and couple more, and they also start leaving TCL because as well in China, it's I encourage if someone wants to go to China as a product designer, you are welcome and well respected, and you get an ability to impact consumer electronics or other industries by being a product designer, and you will appreciate the moment you spend there. But
Nice.
back on that, like the reality is that then when design goes down, I decided to stay because I felt I had a mission. I had a mission. I want to do XLab. I want to do a concept team, but not just going on incremental level. That say doing a bit better, doing a bit cheaper, doing a bit more beautiful, making some incremental change. I want to something that is really aligned with the company strategy, like say like what the company is envisioning and how can we support um, by using design to envision future
Yeah.
possibilities. So the idea, in a simple way, the idea of XLab was creating a team, majority multicultural, but based on design background, design engineer, design coding, human design experience, you name it. And then the idea was to use this a team that can help you to see the future, to go 2 steps ahead. So let's say in a practical case for us to be able to understand, let's say TCL is strong to do screens, right? We do panels from phones, from rollable phones, for TVs, from majority on quantum dot technology, and also ARM-LED, OLED, and so on. So you have a variety of ability on R&D, but your product line is very limited to what is the market currently demand. That is, okay, a TV and a phone and a touchscreen, and not much more than that, right? So you use that technology to deliver that as customer market demand technology. And then what they were trying to do was say like, okay, but how can you as well elaborate perhaps a new product portfolio, a new product category, using the technology that you already know, because we are not tech experts. We know tech, but we cannot deploy tech because we are design background. That is R&D engineers and
Of
software and
course.
so on that requires their support. So we go and we team up sometimes with R&D, just say what you guys are doing. Okay, doing this, doing this, doing that. This is goes in the future in certain part of time. What can we extract now to as well to do to do a prototype, to do a working model. And then the idea was to pitch these concepts to the C-level, okay, to the
Okay.
decision makers of the company, in order to say, how can design as well contribute to portray your idea of vision or possibilities for a revenue stream that can brings
Uh-huh.
more money and more and gain more market to the company
Sure.
by using the R&D expertise. That was kind of
The idea. No, no,
kind of the idea.
it's perfect. I mean, it's the only way to try to also to use all these things that you have in your hands, no, or the company had,
Yeah.
but they are not using that. Let's do the minimum. No, no, we
Yeah.
can, and also you do know how lots of discussions internally that. But how was and back into the culture conflict? No, how
Mhm.
was the communication regarding communication? It was easy to you also because we know that not all people in China speak English, even other
Yes.
languages. And
Yes,
how
yes, yes.
was also just curiosity because I have this sometimes this problem. No, we working now in also in a Chinese company, and it's not so easy. Even with designers, they have huge teams, but one or two really speak English. The other ones Chinese and not. And how was for you this how to not to integrate with the team? I know that you have some other people from outside, but how was this thing?
Yeah, because it's crucial. It's fundamental. My Chinese is it's as a survival mode. All right, I
Right,
can make a couple of jokes. I can orientate myself for ordering food. I can take a taxis, but I cannot have a business conversation. All right,
right.
I can fall in grace. All right, because I can
Hmm.
speak something. But if you want to go deep in a discussion, to use more professional words, I can use some words, but doesn't allow me to build up a conversation. So
Okay.
that's a point that needs to be eased. But at the same time, what we were doing, we were normally at the beginning more working, what is incorrect, I can address that, but more working in a silo, right? We're working
Okay.
isolated. So we were
Okay.
in our creative and strategic mindset. We are getting reports. We are seeing R&Ds, what they are doing. We are watching to the roadmaps of product planning, what they're aiming to do in the future. And we're trying to connect all the parts of the puzzle. And we
Hmm.
were doing prototypes and validate prototypes with end users and so on with Chinese local persons,
Right.
aiming for a Chinese market. But we were not yet communicating what we were doing, and that was a big mistake, because one thing that is necessary is like, you need to have alignment, man. If you don't have alignment, whatever you are doing, when the C-level going to see what you are doing, they might say,
Yeah.
yeah, this is amazing, this is great, I want this. How to do it? Who going to do, how to implement, where is the system, who is
Of
behind this,
course.
who is a product owner, who is a project manager. And
Yeah.
we were just doing our ability to land stuffs
Yeah.
together with some support from R&D, or even external sources that we have budget to
To
collaborate.
use.
But then, like, once on the C-level, they wants to know what is, all the strategic approach, where it's going to fit,
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
that was a bigger problem. And to address the question of communication, is indeed, if you are there, is better you communicate in Chinese. However, some top managers, they are willing to speak in English.
Hmm.
But time by time, the reality is that you are there, you are sitting at a table with 10, 15, 20 Chinese, and
Hmm.
it's normal that the conversation then, as well, for the progress, it goes in Chinese, right?
Yeah.
On that time, you have a person beside you that helps you to translate, or you have a person that is accountable to take the notes and then pass the notes in English to you, or
Yeah.
you as well, you have a smartphone with a translator, and you try to catch. That's the way it
Yes.
works. It's tough. It's extremely tough, but sometimes is needed for you to catch up, because they might as well want to know your opinion on these
Hmm.
conversations. So
Yes.
somehow
True.
you need to be on the loop.
Yeah.
But communication, it's fundamental. But sometimes, maybe you can as well explain what's happened now in your role, when you're as well leading with Chinese. But sometimes the most frustrating stuff is when you go meetings and you leave meetings like looks like never happened. It looks like nothing was concreted, grounded. All right. Maybe you don't need to address this topic because I don't want to compromise you. But like you go meetings, everyone goes there.
It's true.
We talk about topics, then another topic come across, another comes across, and we are there to close this topic and we talk other topics, and then somehow it comes the time to go to lunch, and then people disappear, and
Exactly.
you look around.
Where's everybody?
Okay, let's lunch as well.
Let's go.
Let's
You
go.
adapt yourself. Okay,
Yes.
I'm integrated now. Let's go.
Yes.
lunch and then
Yes. And,
No, it's funny.
And,
It's funny.
and bear in mind, food for them, it's extremely important. Don't mess
Oh
up.
yeah, this I
Don't
heard
mess
something
up with
about, but wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the
yeah,
moment, no, the lunch moment or this kind of moment, they don't want you to be in a meeting, for example. They want no, let's go and then we
No,
talk
no,
later.
food. Let's have food. Share food together. Eating together, talk whatever. Normally eat fast, and normally as well. Interesting that's maybe for someone living in Spain no longer happens. I think so, but in China it's very culturally implemented since a young age to doing the siesta, to doing the
Yes,
break
yes,
for sleeping.
yeah.
It's impressive. When I arrived, I remember for a couple of weeks I've been around, and I decided to go for having a lunch, like having some Western taste. I went to McDonald's, and then when I arrived was like 1 p.m. and
Right.
majority of the table they were occupied, but with people sleeping. Okay, they were just like this, sleeping.
Yes.
Sleeping on the table, because it's shocking at the beginning, but you need to understand that is not say mandatory, but that is fundamental for them. First of all, Shenzhen, it's a city that is huge, right? It's the number of inhabitants in Portugal. It's could fit all in Shenzhen. Okay, so people sometimes to go from A to B, from home to work, they spend a huge amount of time, and they arrive. They have to wake up very soon, and they get exhausted during the first hours of the work because of the daily routine is tough.
Sure.
And then for them is refreshing, and empirically is proving is refreshing as well to switch off the brain during this nap and then wake up, right? But when you come from the Western perspective, like you just want, okay, you finish lunch, okay, come back to work or just do another activity, or let's catch up on something, let's take a walk, let's relax or whatever, right? And then you see everyone sleeping, and then everyone in the office like switch off the lights, put the vents, put the bed sheets, and they sleep. They sleep.
Really sleep. For an hour, half an hour, is that a certain period of?
Like I will say that
it depends.
I will say that at least half an hour, but you can have people that they sleep 1 hour, and when they sleep, there is you have like the one that has no gear and just sleep on the desk, okay, and they sleep, and then you have the one that comes with a foldable tape, with the foldable bed, with bed sheets, with the fan, and like a warmer stuff.
Yeah. No, interesting.
But it's on office place, like take the chair and there's something and then everyone sleeping. But anyway, it's cultural. You have to understand.
It's cultural. No. And as you say, here nowadays it's not so common in Spain. I mean, not in companies, inside companies. I mean, there are some people that do it during the weekend for sure.
Yeah.
But it's culture. I remember in Brazil, some people from the factory, they used to do something like that. They eat really fast, like 15 minutes, and then they have 45 minutes. No, they have 1 hour lunch, and then they have 45 minutes to sleep. And it's true. I mean, I never had this culture, let's say, but I know that if you can sleep like 20 minutes, half an hour, maximum half an hour, I would say, because more than that, I think it's I think the opposite effect, no?
Yeah,
but it's true. And of course, if you can really early, they work until late also, no, sometimes in China.
Yes.
The journey is really is huge, no? So
journey is huge, and like it's part of the culture, I think so. It's the way that they see, it's the way that they see success, and that's the way that they see life purpose. It's very aligned with your career. Like career is kind of very aligned with your purpose. But one thing that I need to also mention is like you were talking about communication. That's for sure is fundamental when you are trying to set up an innovation department. Other stuffs as well is to get an angel. All right, an angel is someone that is a truly believer on what you are doing, and
Yeah.
better be someone that is from a C level. Doesn't mean that the angel gonna support you financially, but as well endorse you somehow. That's cool. And the other stuff that is also needed, it's not working as I was working in the beginning, that I was working with my team in a silo. You need to be a servant. Be a servant is you need to go out there, knock the doors with general managers. What do you want? What can I help you? How can I use innovation to support you? And try to catch parts of the needs to ease that person's pain points that they have on their KPIs, and then support them through your expertise on innovation. I think this is fundamental.
No, I think one interesting thing about that is maybe for a young designer or even for an experienced one, is to be sometimes humble, no? Because sometimes we think we know what we want, we know what we need to do as a designer, we are the
Yes.
best. No, that
Yes, yes,
this
yes.
sometimes in
Correct.
university, no, I remember in Brazil, most of the professors, no, design is the future, design, you're gonna rule the world. I mean, of course we can rule the world, but together with other ones, we are
Yes.
not alone. And sometimes we need to step back and say, okay, we can help, but we will help as the others. we
Yes.
we are not
Yes.
better than the others. So
Yeah.
and I think this fits really well, no, as you said, no,
Yeah.
talk people, open your mind. Sometimes you need to deal, sometimes you're gonna win or your idea or what you thought, but that's the point. It's not easy for a designer,
It's, it's,
probably
it's,
better
it's it's
than me.
not easy. Imagine like in the first year, we deploy 5 concepts. Uh, uh, two or three was fully functional concepts, form
Okay.
factor and features and user experience. And then we create a space that we call experience room. And then every room is kind of a thematic that try to portray why this product is meaningful to serve a set of problems on a certain type of environment, right?
Hmm.
But they never saw nothing. And then they arrive there, they see all of that. They get like, what's happening here? This is crazy. Who's doing this? Who that? And then one thing that was interesting, because some of those ideas we were portraying as being a vision, a concept
Hmm.
vision, all right? So they didn't grasp that. Maybe we didn't explain it right. Maybe it was our fault, or definitely it was our fault. Because for us was like a concept vision is like a car, right? A
Hmm.
concept vision car, it doesn't aim to land in the market. It's kind of an ambition
Hmm.
where the brand wants to be in a certain period of time. It's kind
Yeah.
of a guideline for different departments,
Yeah.
as well for press, as well, whatever, to shareholders to understand we aim to go there, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
we don't need to do that exactly. It's just vision in a more tangible way. And
Yeah.
some concepts that we were delivering as a working functional, they were a vision. And they will get so attached to that they put that concept and they evaluate with the committee to see if there is a business viability and as
Hmm.
well technical feasibility. And then even though they felt technically and desirability from the user point was there, the business was not clear.
Hmm.
So they decided not to engage with that idea. The idea was a table, a TV that you have a stand. I don't have a
Hmm.
prototype here.
Uh-huh.
That we have a stand, and then you can switch to vertical position, to this position horizontal. You can play games. You can put here,
Ah,
right? And you
nice.
can play games here.
In a
And
horizontal wave with other
yes,
people.
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
great.
touch screen.
Great.
And then you can watch TV. You can put as well vertical for gym,
So
okay? And you can
really
put like a desk if you want to work like sketch, or if you want to do a PPT or
nice.
whatever.
Nice.
It was too advanced, and the idea was, and then you understand that there was a big frustration for us, like, come on, this is a vision, this is not to put in the market right now, easy, easy, easy.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. And then it failed.
Yeah.
Then
No,
it fell internally. That's
yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's what I need to encourage everyone's innovation. Fail fast, fail sooner, fail internally, get capital to try,
Exactly.
incubate ideas. Don't need to deploy in the market. Get evidence that is desirable, functional, and as well brings value to the business.
Yeah. And if it's adjusted for the time, no, because I have some past experience with that. We made some really nice concepts, future concepts, and also when we share with no, when we some some research with users,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they say no, I don't like, because they didn't
Yes.
understood that. I said,
Yes. Yes.
no, it's
Yes.
not. And then we saw other companies launching things that is not successful in the market because of
Yeah.
that, because they are ahead of time.
Yeah.
And if you launch maybe 2 3 years later, could be a success, but that time didn't work. It's not easy, because you need to do, as you said, maybe to incubate this idea and grow internally, also internally, before everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Interesting.
And then the thing as well, it's you need to understand that. I don't know if people really know, but it's a way bigger challenge when you try to deploy a concept team to impact the strategy of the company if you come from the realm of design. I think we can debate, and I'm sure this topic is there. Like, like people don't tend to see design as a strategic tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a general
Right,
realms
right.
of culture, right?
Yeah.
They don't put design as in the C level in
No,
order to put
difficult.
design as part as a strategic tool or part of the core of the company. A couple of companies they do, but not many, right, out there. And
Yeah.
especially in China, it's curious to know that design until the early 90s, it was not a discipline that you can go and study university. Okay, so design was just a technical discipline. All right,
Right.
so no related strategy. Design was just about
Wow.
manufacturing and a bit of aesthetics. So bear in mind, so when you talk with decision makers or leaders and they understand that your background education is design, they will already, lower the expectations, and your words lose a bit of weight, especially in China, because there were not universities offering design options until
Okay.
early 90s. And bear in mind, just for the audience to know, um, when you study, there is heavy effort on the culture in China to educate kids. And when kids are studying, there's an exam that is Gaokao, kind of national exam. And on this exam, that's allowed to get to universities tier one, tier two, and then you go technical school or private universities. All right, that's the
Okay.
ways or you go working on the work. You go work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you set up and you work after high school, right, before entering universities. And so you have a Gaokao and you have grades. So if you enter the tier one universities, you go to the best universities. Second tier, you go not that good. And then they make an effort to enter on the tier one and tier two. A huge effort, financial effort, time effort. They really live for study in China, young generation.
Wow.
That's the reality, because they just have one child normally because of the policy. No longer the policy is the same.
Yeah.
One child policy. So all the effort on that kid to study to be successful in the future, to enter the
In the
first tier one.
competition, no? And
Yes,
also competition, because lots of people.
Yeah, exactly. And more grades you have, better quality you get on universities. So imagine that people struggling to get on tier one or tier two because they cannot afford private, and then design was not there. It was a technical discipline. So imagine that once you need to come from the realm of design to do innovation department, it's
It's
like
another word.
yes, it's on this culture the perception of value is like, come on guys, you are designers, just do it beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Just
do
do
it
the
beautiful.
the shell, and it's okay. No, we
Yes,
don't need
yes, yes,
anything.
yes. So
Yeah, because yeah.
it's very interesting that, because you don't understand when you were talking with the decision makers on the Chinese culture, like, and I was talking to my colleagues, come on, why they really fucking depreciate our value? We are bringing value, we are bringing evidence, we have metrics of how we evaluate stuffs, and then we are jumping here, no criteria decision stuffs. Please just follow what we are asking to follow. We have a system that we want to apply in order for these to be more a systematic approach in order for us to progress. Otherwise, we are not progressing. But
Yeah.
and then I made my research and understand, like, okay, that's why design is not very well, respected.
Yes, they are kind of still growing. No, I think the concept of design, or to have this specialized professionals, not from design, is kind of new, no? Because since the 90s, you're gonna see it's 30
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
It's not so much, no.
No.
Even in our Occidental world, it's not so. Maybe 50, 60. Because also I remember, at least in Brazil, the first universities, they start design, no, university in
Mm-hmm.
70s, end of 70s, and they grow basically 80s, 90s. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we are
Mm-hmm.
kind of still growing. No?
Yeah. It's a discipline that needs as well to grow up and to mature. That's for
And
sure,
it changed
right?
a lot also.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
as
yeah,
you said, no, because I remember when I made my university that we are kind of considered, no, you do the shell, no, you do the nice forms, and
yeah,
this is your job. And now we have this basically other types of designers, no, because now today we have the industrial design, because product design now is the digital one. Then you
hmm.
have the graphic one.
We lost the
Yeah,
flag.
it's totally, no, the time product design is one thing, now product design is another thing. And you have these different types of design. The digital world is new even for
Yeah,
me, because
yeah.
when I was started, no. So that's the thing. And
And,
and another
Mhm.
another thing that's interesting, no, in your case, to create an innovation department is also complicated, because how do you uh, guarantee some, no, some results to the company,
Yes,
because
and
because in the end they
yeah,
are putting lots of money,
yeah.
but it's difficult to, to measure, what they are receiving
Yes, yes,
back.
yes, 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 for sure, for sure, for sure. And they were not putting much money. All right,
Okay.
that's a good. That's also a topic, because what you need to understand that in order for you to deploy innovation and have you need to have a very strong financial line or a financial funding system. All right, you need a fund. You need a system to
Hmm.
understand where the money come from to be allocated to deploy what. Okay,
Hmm.
and we didn't have that. We were just making everything from the scratch. So then we have to explain, look, in a very simple way, we have three lines. One is incremental, another
Hmm.
one is breakthrough, another one is vision. All right, let's go to the first one, incremental. You put money here. All right, this is a very market driven solution that the market is asking. This is focus on what R&D is able to do tomorrow. All
Hmm.
right, and this is for your product line, next year. Easy to do
Yeah.
incremental, right?
Hmm.
Breakthrough is emerging markets, is not mass market, is mature technology not going to be a problem, but perhaps it's slightly a bit of your product portfolio. We
Okay.
still use screens, but maybe it's a portable TV, all right, as
Great.
wheels or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And so on. And then vision aims to land in the market after 3 years. So let's say a robot, or you know more disruptive
Hmm.
product that
Right.
is a new product and maybe for future markets. So we as an innovation team, we want to engage on these three: incremental, breakthrough, and vision.
Hmm.
But once you explain these to the product owners from different product lineups, they say, okay, take all the money for incremental, because they want to see success fast,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They want to
Exactly.
see whatever you are doing. I want to take gain of that um, as fast as possible. Look, and
Sure.
and I and I really understand that. So we had to understand that if you want to fulfill the three areas, incremental, breakthrough, and vision,
Hmm.
you need different revenue streams. You cannot be
Of
just the
course.
same guys paying you the money, because these guys, they also need to focus on their KPI. If their KPI is to make successful product lines this year, okay,
Exactly.
why they
They
will
go.
invest on future thinking is not their
No,
KPI.
no, no, no,
So
no.
you know what you are saying makes sense, but no, thank you. We're not going to put
Yeah,
money there, and you have to respect. So
yeah, yeah.
it
No.
comes with a challenge. So who's going to put the money, on more crazy stuffs? So
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever face this, but discussing budget is interesting topics, because you first of all, it's as what we are good on designers. I think we need to take that as a value. You need to empathize. You need to see what that problem, what that person is looking to get solved, right? What is their pains? What how can we provide value to them,
Yeah.
and how can we understand what is considered valuable for
Hmm.
them? Like you need to have this empathy. And then once I understand that this won't put money on incremental stuff, market driven, product
Hmm.
line, stable technology, no mistakes, no need for debugs and so on. Move, go that. But then who invest on a more strategic vision approach. That was kind of a struggle as well, but we find a way actually.
Sure.
We
No, no,
find a way.
I think it's really clear. As you said, I think in the end, the KPIs, they are not driving them, and not, and usually, as far as I'm kind of entering this, in this new world, this Chinese world, and they work like year to year. So if they're talking about next year, they don't want to talk, and they don't want to work for next 5 years because they don't have this KPI. So I need money, so I need
Very,
to do next year.
very simple. At the end of the day, even if they are there, because they're not going to be there. Some persons are still long on the companies in
Yeah,
China. Um, it's just because they need to fulfill their KPIs, right? And they think this way. Why should I allocate time and effort to do something that no one asked me to do? Okay.
exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
you could say, yeah, I can do because I fulfill myself, my purpose, I fulfill my curiosity. I'm a
Mm-hmm,
visionary. Wow, these guys are doing crazy stuffs. A bit of money
mm-hmm,
here, I
mm-hmm.
can support them to these crazy stuffs, and they're gonna get as well recognized by being part of doing these crazy stuffs. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's better doing nothing than doing crazy stuffs. You know.
Yep. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that comes with a problem for us because we said we really want to do vision stuffs. So one way that we said like let's find uh, new money. Like we need
Mm-hmm,
persons that they want to work on vision. So then when you address marketing,
mm-hmm.
because marketing have a different budget, okay?
Yes.
Their KPIs are more related to elevate the brand perception, all right, to
Mm-hmm.
communicate well products, to gain media traction, consumer traction, to be able to control the clipping. Let's say the clipping is the amount of persons that watch their news and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then they invest time, they invest money on that. And normally, marketing budget and brand budget, it's is there. It's also expressive
Yeah.
in a
Exactly.
way.
Exactly.
So we said like, well, let's knock this door. And then we successfully made through them. We made Milan Design Week in 2023. You
Nice.
know, so
Yeah.
we understand what is their KPIs and what is important for them, but we try as well to enhance how can design support their KPIs. How can we use design
Yeah.
to do that? So we were just saying like like the visitors in Milan is bigger than in fairs that TCL goes as IFA and CES. All
Mm-hmm.
right, different type of audience, but there is more visibility. There is more media going. There is lifestyle media. If you want to enter the lifestyle product category,
Mm-hmm.
this, and that. Then they
Yeah.
bought the idea, and then they give us the ability, me together with the head of market on that time in Europe, to kick off the project. Okay, and
Great.
we make Milan Design Week in 2023, and that also part of the discussion we had. But you gonna as well support us to do our concept visions. We
Mm-hmm.
want as well to portray our concept visions, and then we align. That we get the support.
Great.
They could pay part of the shipping or part of other needs to do these concepts, and they allow us to as well to showcase these concepts because these concepts brings media attraction. Okay,
Sure. Sure.
so this way I think was a successful way that you could say, all right, we have guys that they pay the
Mm-hmm.
incremental innovation, and we have guys that they pay the vision, and the breakthrough is in
Interesting.
the middle, right? You can collect budget from one side to other side to do
Mm-hmm.
breakthrough
Two things.
concepts.
Interesting. No, congrats for the solution. No, how to find this an interesting how it sometimes people doesn't understand this kind of big company or huge companies and to work like this you need to no to
Yeah,
be
it's it's
a politic
it's
looking for things no.
because we are talking about here, we are talking this in a very like clean and simple. But when you
Mm-hmm.
are doing these, so many mistakes, so many face on the
Yeah.
wall, and so many fall downs, so many roadblocks, that you had to make the stuffs happening, and especially on big corporations, and especially in a different culture, different country, different language. In order for you to get resilient to have this, is because you need to really believe. You really need to believe. You are really believing in what you are trying, the value you want to put on the table. and
Great.
then and
Great.
then that if you have a team that as well believe, because sometimes there is the dreamers and the dream builders, right?
Okay.
If you have a team that you have a couple of dreamers and as well a couple of dream builders, that's also, supports and gives the fuel for the team to not give up until get what they think is the proper way to do. And then we made that, and like we gain the recognition with design awards. We start gaining a funding line straight from the CEO nowadays. When I left TCL, the CEO was already funding the innovation on XLab. So bear in mind, we were asking money around when we start, trying to find money to have budgets to make our stuffs, to support our prototypes and studies and so on. Until the moment that the money comes straight to the CEO.
They are giving money direct to the department. You don't need to go asking for money.
And bear in mind, is CEO TCL Industries. So TCL is a CEO industry that oversees all the business units. Okay. And every business unit has a CEO, but this CEO gives money straight to DIC, Design Innovation Center.
Wow.
Okay.
Great.
And then expects as well XLab to do a portfolio of future incremental and breakthrough concepts that we can engage, right? So like kind of I felt that it's hard for you to move out of a company sometimes when you spend so much time there. Don't know if it already happens to you, but at least when you look to the journey, you felt to say like, all right, I think I established innovation culture on this company. When I say me, I say me are the persons that they were working
Of course.
on XLab, on Design Innovation Center. They were pushing to make this culture to happen. When you already have a strategic influence and coming budget and sit with the CEO of TCL Industries to see your mock-ups, concepts, and so on, I think there is already established innovation culture.
Sure. No. I think it's clear, as you said. Now, if they are working in this way nowadays, it's clear that they kind of understood how it must be.
Yeah.
I mean, they could change in the future, but they already know the how would be, And then, well, as you said, so you left TLC.
TCL.
No, TCL. Sorry, TLC.
No worries.
TCL. And
I used to say the same in the beginning.
Yeah, that I don't know what.
I don't know why.
Know.
Like,
I don't know.
Is interesting.
It's strange.
It's
There's no
interesting.
other company. No, there's no TLC company.
It is a TLC for
Is there something?
Media marketing stuff.
Maybe, but TCL
actually is well known, but it's not on consumer electronics.
I from the beginning when I heard TCL, I don't know why. I don't know if it's right. I think there's something related with Toshiba, but there's nothing related with Toshiba.
Actually, yes.
The T is from Toshiba, is something like that.
No. Actually, we were partnering with Toshiba, and we were providing service to Toshiba as well, design service and R&D service and manufacturing service to Toshiba. But we were not neither founding together with or TCL was not neither founding together with Toshiba. TCL was also growing in the market and also acquired in Paris Thomson, a TV company, and then acquired later on Alcatel. Interesting as well on that period of time around 90s, acquires as well the design team that was in Thomson and Alcatel that was led by Philip Stark. Interesting, right? That team was led by Philip Stark. It was organized by Philip Stark. And I already went to the office on Paris of TCL, and there is a couple of models that have like the Philip Stark signature.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Kind of, it's like a well-known design figure, design guru, and such a mediatic person was working on.
It's a star.
He was. Yes.
There's some interesting projects. There are others more for, let's say, art than design. But I like some.
Well, like you know, like the thing here is like depends on the realm that you approach the criteria to say is good or bad, right?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, if you say like you have Philip Stark and you sign the product Philip Stark, and then you increase the sales by 20%, great job. If you look from that perspective, like influencing the business success, maybe it's a great job, maybe it's a great investment, but also also, I don't know how we pitch the stuff to clients, but I really wish to know. Like, I wish if I was him, if I were him, I would say like, look, you pay me this, these guys pay me this, and that, and I turn the revenue from these levels. This is all clear figures. So the investment you do is just
Exactly.
0.1% of the
Yeah, yeah,
figures you're
yeah.
gonna get. We have a deal. I think everyone wanna have a deal, like
Sure, sure, sure,
if
sure. No, and it's fantastic because for me, one of the I think most of the people would know if you are a designer, the product that he made for Alessia, a really old one, the juice leaf, no, the one that is supposed to squeeze lemon. And even Philip Stark said, no,
not all lemon.
it's
Yes.
it doesn't work well, but at least it's a art object.
It's
I
a
have it. I
yes, yeah,
have here
yeah,
at
yeah,
home
yeah,
one of
yeah,
them. I don't know where
yeah.
is it, but I bought one. It's not so cheap. It's really expensive. If you
Yes.
bought the chromed one, and as I'm a designer, I never try. I remember when I bought some, I don't know, my father, no, let's try it. No, don't touch, don't put any lemon. I just want to live there. And it's funny because in the end sells a lot, and it's a lemon no squeezer, but nobody
Yes.
uses it. It's
It
fantastic.
like I think in the project that you do, he has the ability to create conversation about objects.
Totally.
I think is the most remarkable stuff. Um, he as well. He has a lamp that is a gun. Okay. As well, he has recently he partnered with a Portuguese team named Delta. They do cafes, they do coffee
Yeah.
machines,
I
and
saw. I saw.
they create a machine that calls rice,
Mm-hmm.
and basically the coffee comes to your cup from the button of your
From
cup
the bottom, this
and
really
not from
nice
the
concept.
top.
Yeah.
And it's a product in the market, and these technology wise was all in-house made by Diverge team. That is a team that deployed this technology and design team from Delta. But I guess was a very strategical decision made perhaps by marketing together with design to say, let's have this, a bit breakthrough technology to make coffee, but we also label it by design by Philip Stark, and the design for sure. Philip Stark
Yes.
influenced on design from factor and some stuffs, but majority of the technology was already developed. But the collaboration with Philip Stark also placed that
Gives no
product
boost.
yes. Like it's great if imagine that you want to enter in a luxury markets.
Exactly.
You have this guy that work with luxury brands, or like say guys like Michael Young and so on, that they have already built up their own brand.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know about you, but when you were studying, I was fascinating about Mark Newson.
Mark
I love Mark
Newson.
Newson.
There are this kind of Mark Newson. I remember another guy that I was in. I think I was working that time. Some crazy guy, Karim Hashid.
Karim Rashid. Yes.
This guy said, "Wow, what is guys doing?" It's and he these brain designers, no, in the end, not brain designers that do brain, but they have their own brain, and it works. It works.
That, because I think like at the end of the day, consumers also they want to be related with people, and they want to be
Sure.
touched somehow by products that they are designed by certain personalities, because it's easier to understand a singularity personality that understand what the brand stands for. Brand's a brand, is a logo, is a name, right? Until you grasp the totally value of seeking different or whatever, like Apple or other companies, right? That slogan that they have perhaps is easier to when you have a guy that walks and talks and dresses and designs, and then already has a certain level of layers of labels to identify him that allows your company to take those labels as well when collaborate with him or her.
No, but it's interesting. I never heard about this collaboration, this previous collaboration of TCL with Philip Stark. Interesting story. And now, okay, and then you left TCL,
Yes.
and now what's your what is the new journey that you already enter? Is there anything?
Yeah, is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Tell
Is that a
us.
thing? Yeah, because when I was in, I enjoyed the journey of being in TCL, and I enjoy working with wonderful people in design center. But then I learned a lot with these people around me. But then I also felt that, I struggled to do this systematic approach for innovation together with other colleagues to make this stable on a company that do consumer electronics, they go to the market products with mature technology. And I felt, how about as well, I can do that for other companies that they might have the product portfolio and they might have certain level of bottom line, they have some level of cash on budget on different lines, but they are struggling to have expertise to do it, innovation, to deploy innovation, right? In a more systematic approach that you don't just throw it away out money in a workshop and a brainstorming on agile, Scrum, design thinking, everyone clapping hands and playing, and then that was just HR activation stuff and doesn't concrete on landing on nothing, or at least learning on actual user data and so on and so forth. So that was kind of my goal, like, and then that I've been maturing the thought. Like I create a company in Shenzhen named Elevate. So as the name say, like the idea is when you work with brands, the purpose of you engaging with the consultancy as the way that I want to offer is like is my expertise on innovation, right? On innovation side,
Right.
to create systems to deploy innovation. Another one is as well the product design that is still my core value. And and the fact to when you are in China, you also have the value related with the geographical location, right? You can say additionally to these, the values related with partners on industry, on the supply chain, on manufacturing, on component sides, the pace in China is very vivid. Okay, like
Yeah.
people really works in a different pace. All right. I'm not saying that they're more smarter or not. They are just willing to work on curious stuff.
Yeah.
And that I felt like it makes sense to have a company there. So I create because it's I guess it's a strategic location. Like the ecosystem is amazing. So that was the point to create the company.
Great. So you are running the company, and the idea is to have only in China, but also here something in Europe, also to help companies whatever they want to.
Yeah, because the idea at the end of the day is like, you know, I really engage the idea of creating a culture of innovation. All right, so
Nice.
I really need to create meaningful partnerships like with companies that they really want to empowering their ability to have innovation culture in house, and that takes time. All right, so the idea is ideally the way I wish to work is you have a project that is 6 to 1 year and you almost get part of a team that you are working with the design team and as well, but
Nice.
you communicate with product owners, marketing teams and so on, and you try to create a system. How can your teams already can design innovation for future, and how can be self-sustainable, and then you get out of the picture, like the
Yeah.
idea is to
Mm-hmm.
kind of engaging in a mid-term collaboration, you know, uh, adjust everything, all right, tickle
And
everything,
then they
and
run
then
by themselves.
and then you do by themselves. That means that the company is able to create an innovation roadmap, company is able to create a strategic frameworks, the concept
Nice.
design, and then the company is able to create innovation management to deploy vision or incremental stuffs and so on.
Great.
That's a
No, no,
bit
no. Really great.
that's a bit my goal, and I feel like I have this ability and expertise because I've been doing that and struggling to do that. So I feel it's fundamental for companies to engage on at least on this thinking. At least to have these conversations as a starting point to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To
because
elevate, no,
yeah,
the innovation side of the
yeah,
company.
yes. The idea is to elevate everything.
Great.
on the
Great.
on the sense, like, if I need to be honest, like, and as well I'm working to collaborations like with more impactful stuff, like elevate the lifestyle of our societies. Let's say if I work with if I'm looking to work with companies that they work, for example, in healthcare, medical care and so on, I know that what I'm doing, I'm elevating the output of a certain level of persons
Sure.
in needs. That is also a purpose that I also create the the name. I found the naming of the company, you know. And I guess it's these two lines, like working with impact and working on
Mhm.
innovation systematic approach for companies. And perhaps a third line is, for example, like larger parts of companies that they are doing own brand, but they need to go
Mhm.
factories to produce their products, but sometimes they have a shortage of timing to do landing in the market, so they need to buy
Mhm.
off the shelf. It is off the
Okay.
shelf, right? Go
Yeah, yeah.
there and select this, select that, and put my logo in. Done. I think as well, like those manufacturers, they need to readjust their value proposition. So one other way could be as well, you can elevate them output value by saying we're just not doing off the shelf. We also craft a proper design language. Okay, you come
Of
here,
course.
we sit, we elaborate design language that makes sense for you, and then we tailor off the shelf ideas that align with the mission or the vision that
Mhm.
your company want to
Mhm.
portray, right? So I think I'm working on these three realms, right? Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
It makes sense.
For sure, for sure. No, and all the history behind you, I think makes sense, and it proves that you are capable to run and also to elevate your own company. I think it's clear for everybody here. For
Yes, yes, yes,
well,
yes,
no,
yes.
no, perfect, really, really nice, Tiago. And I mean, we are almost 1 hour and a half talking here. It's
Oh,
really
no way, really?
time's run. Yeah, yeah, it's really fast. No, I have just, I mean, thank you for all the information to share your experience. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant way.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
No, no, and but I have some. I used to have two questions in the end of the conversation. This just by curiosity. If you
Go
have
ahead.
some professional, some designer, whatever. No, doesn't need to be a designer, but that that you see as a inspiration for you, or that is or was an inspiration for you. Is there any person or professional?
Mm.
Difficult
As
question.
as 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 I mentioned before, like I think it's seasoning according with
Mm-hmm.
your progress, your career. Like you cannot have a person that aims to be, at least in my side, aims to
Yeah.
be there for all the journey of your life. You have some.
Uh huh.
I remember I was study for sure were Mark Newson, right? And then was too, like on the design side was Johnny Ive from Apple, and
Sure.
as well Sir Dyson that
Uh
makes
huh.
a wonderful brand
Yeah.
that is impressive, from vacuum cleaning already do beauty care and hair dryers. Take the
In
head.
terms of VBL, no, VBL exploration is a really nice example, no, by
Yes,
the way.
yes, yes, yes. So I would say this too, but
These
then
three
these three. Thank you.
good ones.
But then on a daily basis, you touch with so many good peers, good designers, good persons around you that maybe you don't need to take them as the deepness of roles of inspiration, but they impact you so much. I think they impact you so much.
For sure, for sure. No, I think as what we want to share, no, with our audience here is to also that you, for example, will inspire someone, no, that could hear our chat here and they say, "Wow, what this guy made, it's inspiring me
Yeah.
to do something." Because we are anonymous usually, no.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yes.
did it,
Yes.
you
Correct.
and me and other professionals. We did lots of products during our no career that
Yes. A
not
lot.
finished, and nobody knows that's made or that we participate in this project. Nobody knows the
Yes.
name. We are
Yes.
not
Yes.
Philip
Yes.
Stark, no.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now with this, no, with our podcast and other ones, nice ones, I think it's nice that people could know us, no, could know more detail about you. Unless they could look your, I don't know, LinkedIn page, but in the end, it's really cold. No, you don't see the real story behind. No,
Yes. Yes.
no, no,
Uh,
great.
yeah.
And
Uh,
the second one, the second question, just to is if you can recommend a book or a web page or a podcast. Doesn't need to be a book because nowadays, if we say about design books, it's really time is really fast. No, it's difficult to have something really no ahead. But I mean, could be a website or something where you get inspiration in terms of material. It's looking for books or web page or TV.
Good.
I don't know. Do you have any font
Yeah.
of inspiration?
When we were in TCL for related to trends, for example, we had the privilege to have two accounts. One is from Stylus, other one is
Ah,
for WGSN. And Stylus, we closed the account, and WGSN we had. That was kind of the mecca place to go
mhm.
for upcoming trends. A lot of reading on that web page
It's
to
fantastic.
to get. I don't know if you guys are using their Inteca, but
We have a stylus. Stylus. It's really really nice.
okay. We were collaborating strongly with WGSN.
WGSN.
Yes, and that was the place that I was trying to find all of my juice, and then I found that it's fascinating as well online. Like I could get I get some kind of accounts that I can open up and read some papers and some articles,
Hmm.
and I used to go on Medium as well to read some articles that peers, other designers are writing there, and and then I used to sign the wallpaper, but because like when you get wallpaper, it was a moment of your life that you were seeing design as aesthetic. You're seeing that, but I still love it, design as aesthetic purpose.
Sure, sure.
I still love it, but I will feel that those are my, I don't know if they are my source of influence, but those are the stuffs I look the
That
most.
help.
And then I think the most important is being your eyes open. It's like in the real world, in the real stuffs, in the real problems, engaging with the reality, because I think sometimes you spend too much time online, and there's nothing wrong, especially when you do products. We used to often visit fairs, because
Hmm.
consumer electronics fairs are amazing to see what is possible, what is being doing, and as well to do like fairs like Milan Week or Eindhoven or London. Those are places that you can see physical stuff, and can you engage with persons, the stories behind, and you get to collect much more insights if you have the budget and time and opportunity to do that. I think it's a way more, at least from my perspective, it's a way more rich, in a sense that you connect on a human basis as well with the creators of some stuff that can give you so
Exactly.
much insights why they are doing this, a
Hmm.
couple trends that they are upcoming trends that you have not yet seen, no one
Hmm.
talking about, but you were following. It was guys that I was really impressed, but they no longer exist. They name Space 10. I don't know if you ever heard about Space 10.
It sounds me, but no, I don't know. Maybe
Space 10, they were
space time.
kind of they have been running for a couple of years. I will not say if they arrived to 10, but they arrived to 5,
Uh-huh.
I think so.
All right.
Space 10 was a group of future thinking people,
Mm-hmm.
visionaries, designers, different types of fields, but more in the realm of um, design, user oriented, user centric, and
Mm-hmm.
so on. That they create a team to do research and exploration for IKEA. All right.
Okay.
So they were heavily funding for IKEA, and kind of their requirement. I think that's why they failed. Well, they failed. Sorry, I don't want to say they failed. They
Yeah,
succeed.
yeah.
They success
Let us
in
exactly,
inspire me, inspiring many others. But
exactly.
then there is the business side of what you are doing. It's like they really were aiming to be disruptive, future
Mm-hmm.
thinking, focus on vision, focus on of new pragmatics, new realities, new lifestyles, new human interactions. Like in a sense that whatever they were using, perhaps just 10 to 20% could be applied on IKEA in a short period of time.
Okay. Okay.
But if you still search, they still have a lot of information out there. So if someone that is on innovation, I suggest to look
To
on to
go.
look on their page, Space Time.
Oh, great. Great. No, great advice. And also the other advice that you said to people, you need to live life, If you want to know people, you need to live life with people, not no online, where looking, as we said sometimes, internal jokes, not just looking Pinterest because you are doing another Pinterest product. So try to try to open
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah, yeah,
vision.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and for deploying products, if you have ability to be multicultural, engage with persons that they are from different backgrounds, they come up with different textures, with different type of finishes
Yes.
and so on, that they are really outstanding. But then the problem is that sometimes as well the industry is not because it depends the brand you are working with.
Of
Like
course, of course.
as you were saying before correctly, it's like sometimes what you are doing is ahead of the market need, right? And you want to do it, but even if you do, but depends on your company. If your company is to tackle mass market, you can never do that, right? If you
Yep.
really want to go mass market and have the money on the mass market, deploying like crazy more stuffs, it's better to work on a company that is already labeled to be innovative, so they need to really put effort to do this, even if they lose money.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think startups, it's a good ground to,
Yeah.
to break the establishment.
To take this risk, this kind of risk, no,
Yes.
that what they do well, and then of course, after all the big companies go and no, and kind of okay,
Yeah.
now it's working.
Yeah.
Let's
Acquire.
buy it
Yeah.
exactly, acquire.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
but it's the usual. Great, Tiago. I think it was. I like it really much. I hope that you also like it, the chat, and also really nice discussions. I don't know if you want to say something else, or if I didn't ask you something that you want to share with us.
No. As I say, it's no script here since the beginning.
Great,
So
great.
I'm enjoying the pace of the conversation. I hope all the audience on AtomCast has been enjoying. And feel free to reach me.
Of course,
I'm easy to find me on LinkedIn.
we're gonna leave
Whenever,
your data here
yeah, it's
on
passing
YouTube,
here down.
Spotify. You're gonna
You
see it's
can see
passing here
here.
down. You can touch
Or
her
click
screen
on
and
this
then
button. I'm sorry,
exactly.
I mess it up. You can cut this part.
No problem, no problem. It's
but
fine.
but the idea, like, I'm willing to to contact the person and communicate, because I appreciate what you're doing, Leonardo, because at the end of the day, it's fundamental for the voices on the design industry to have a place to speak out. And perhaps one day, I encourage you as well to do roundtables and to do stuff that you can have more participants on topics to discuss,
For sure.
because
sure.
that's going to bring much more vivid interaction, that those that they
Exactly.
cannot attend, but they can as well feel the bubbling of different opinions and discussions that they come across on.
No, and the best thing here is not find maybe a solution. We have the discussion, different ideas.
Oh, sure.
Did you come up with a solution? No problem. It's
No
it's open
problem.
discussion, and you can deploy by yourself and try to find your own
Yes,
solution.
yes.
Great.
Agree,
No,
agree.
thank you very much, Thiago. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.